Thank you, Alan, for that reading. I was actually going to use another topic, but decided a couple weeks ago when John was up here to use something kind of in line with what the new theme is, outward focus. Except I think I called mine outward bound because I forgot the word focus. Of course, we know it's what we're going to theme for the next several months. Let's see if I can get this working right. Okay. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the flesh of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." Adam and Eve were the first humans. No one else was around to judge them, either by appearance or deeds. They were perfect. After all, who was going to see them? Nobody else was there except God. He definitely wasn't going to complain about his own creation. So we don't know exactly what they look like other than similar to what we look like. We all look like similar to each other. And again, there's a lot of differences, but still, Adam was first, and eventually God created Eve. "But now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought for himself a man after his own heart. And the Lord has commanded him to be commander over his people, because you have not kept what the Lord commanded you." Notice a man after his own heart. And then the next one, 1 Samuel 16:7. "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at his heart." 1 Samuel 16, verses 1, and I will read through verses 6. "And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your horn with oil, and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, take a heifer with you, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do. And you shall anoint unto me him whom I name unto you. And Samuel did that which the Lord spoke, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, do you come peaceably? And he said, peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab, and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. He was actually judging Eliab based on his stature, what he looked like. He was using his human judgment as what he thought the person that God was going to choose and wanted to choose to be king. I've already read verse 7, but God basically says, Samuel, don't look at him at his physical stature. I have refused him. Of course, Samuel didn't know why, but the Lord looks at the heart. So he knew there was something about Eliab he did not like. And we're going to find out a few more in just a moment. Verse number 8. Then Jesse called Abinadab, and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither has the Lord chosen this. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, neither has the Lord chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord has not chosen these. And Samuel said to Jesse, are here all your children? And he said, there remains yet the youngest. Behold, he keeps the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he comes here. And he was sent and brought in. Now he was ruddy, and with a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil, and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. As we see, God rejected everybody because he knew specifically who he wanted to appoint, but the process had to be gone through. And I'm sure all the sons were probably disappointed, or maybe not. I don't know if they really ever thought about being king. I know David didn't, but yet God had a purpose for choosing David. He wasn't looking at, even though David was a young boy, I don't know how old he was. Some people, you guys might know, but God knew what David was going to be capable of doing, just how close he was going to stay to God. He did fall away a lot throughout his life, but overall, he stayed very close to God. He was faithful, and he trusted in God. When he needed to be punished, he accepted the punishment. He didn't like it, but he accepted it. He moved on, but he never gave up his truth and his trust and confidence in God. And I think God knew that. And then, hold on just a moment. Let me get to my next page. Okay. But what did you go out to see? A man clothed in soft garments? Indeed, those who are gorgeously apparelled and live in luxury are in king's courts. Next time I'll put markers in here. Okay, 725. As we know, this was talking about the people came from John the Baptizer, as I call him, not the Baptist, but Baptizer, because he baptized people. Baptist, whatever, it's in the Bible. But John somehow wasn't quite sure about Jesus. Even though they were cousins, I don't know how long it's been since they had seen each other. But yet, that's why he sent two of his disciples to Jesus and asked, "Are you he that should come, or should we look for someone else?" When he came to him and said, "John the Baptist has sent us to you," asked, "Are you he that should come, or do we look for another?" And in that same hour, Jesus cured many of their infirmities, plagues, evil spirits. Those who were blind, he gave sight. Or in other words, he did lots and lots of miracles and stuff. And then Jesus said to them, "Go your way and tell John what things you have seen and heard, how the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, to the poor the gospel is preached, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me." And then when the messengers departed, and I'm paraphrasing here, "What went you out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind?" But what a man clothed in soft garments, clothing, rich, very ornate garments, rich garments, as in looking very, very nice. But again, that's what people see. God doesn't, he overlooks that. And so he was very, very specific, but yet Jesus had to prove himself over and over again. And we don't really know what Jesus looked like, other than he was here as a man. I'm sure he had the similar facial features as the people in Jerusalem, Israel had at the time. His lineage was from of the tribe of Judah, so Israelites. So, and God could have made him, if he came anywhere else, he would look similar to what he would have been somewhere else. But he was here, so we don't truly know. People think they know, but nobody is ever really going to know. But yet, he was here for a purpose, and Jesus himself overlooked the physical appearance of the people. He didn't care if they were blind. He didn't care if they could barely walk or barely move. He didn't care what was going on. He cared about what was in their heart, what was in their soul. He overlooked the appearance. We ourselves do not do that. Every day we look at people and we judge people by what we're wearing or what they're wearing, what they're doing, where they're at, a whole bunch of stuff, which we should not be doing, because we very well could be wrong in that respect. They could be dressed like they could have multimillionaires and just dress what we call ordinary clothes, because that's what they choose to do. But we shouldn't judge somebody because of that right there. But although it's not how God sees into, we have machines that allow us to see into human flesh, into the human body, such as MRI. I think it's an MRI or CAT scan machine. We have X-ray machines. Doctors can use those to see inside of a human body. That's the best humans can do, to see inside of a human body. They're not looking at the heart rate. They need to see what's inside of us. I've had both of these So I know some of you have probably had several more and multiple times, but it's what the doctors uses to help so they see what's wrong with us. And so they can base their medical decisions on what's better for us so they can hopefully work to heal us. Now, it doesn't always work, but at least they can see what's there and know what they need to do. It's a lot better than having to cut you open and go in and explore and might not find anything after. You might not have to do that after all. But the small groups have been tasked with planning a community project. We will be interacting with the community, although it would be the easy way to just give money. I think it's safe to say none of the groups will just donate money. I know we are not the group I'm part of, and we meet back there in the fellowship hall, just 3 of us, unless we have visitors. We know what we're going to do for our project, but we're going into a community, the groups are, to help people that have needs that are different than the needs we have. We are like Samuel and others and judge someone based on where they live or the clothes that they are wearing or other means. But as we go about our daily lives, we need to remember, and I'll get to it in just a minute, and how do we want someone to treat us? Remember, we've heard it many, many, many times before, the golden rule. Matthew 7, therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Treat others the way you want to be treated. You want to be treated nice? Treat people nice. But don't do it because people are actually looking at you and expect you. Just do it, just to do it. And then again in Luke chapter 6, and just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise. It's better when we're doing something, not because we're trying to, we know people are looking at us and are we going to do this? Do it without nobody looking at it, just for the satisfaction of knowing that you did something good for someone. Even if it's only one person, you've helped one person for a brief moment. They may need more help beyond what you can do or what you're able to do at that time, but yet, remember, if you want to be treated nicely, and I do, and you do too, don't be harsh. Don't look like restaurants or somewhere and just something's not right, get all crazy and insane about it. Like I see stuff on Facebook stories. I don't know whether they're all true or not, but still, just be considerate. And just think about what you're going to say, because remember, once you say a word, you can't take it back. Once you do something, you really can't take it back either. People are going to remember the way you treated them. Now, there are times if you're very nice to them, even if something's wrong, if you go back to remember you, maybe things will go a little bit better, smoother, perhaps. But one thing that's always good, and it doesn't mention right here, but specifically, but be honest. Honesty, you can never go wrong. And there have been times when I've been honest about something. I like for a group my brother and I were in, the Orange County Flyers, they're like a minor league baseball team. We were in the part of it, not that team, but the I forgot what we called. But on Sunday, after church, it was like Father's Day. They were giving out aprons. We said we're not dads. We're not. But they gave us one anyway. Another time, I saved money down at the beach. The guy wasn't there. I parked. I waited till he came up, and people finally started. I told him what happened. He said, "You don't have to pay. You were honest about it." So I didn't have to pay. So remember, honesty will never get you in a bad way with God. Other people might think you're crazy. Why are you being honest? And other stuff has happened to me before. I've ordered something online for Walmart. From online. Something was delivered to me from Walmart to the wrong address, and it happened to be the same thing I ordered. Several people told me, keep it. People in the store told me, keep it. I wasn't going to do it. That wasn't mine. So I was trying how I would want it to be treated. But one thing we always have to remember, look outwards at other people, what their needs might be. And again, you may only be able to assist one or two people in a much smaller way, but yet think about other people. And again, I don't know how many things we're going to be small group project, but I'm sure to get us involved in the neighborhood in some way. Some of ours are going to be fairly small. I don't know about the rest of you, the groups, how big or how small yours are going to be, but it's going to help someone or a lot of people in some way, in a positive way, because I know that's why you guys were setting it up, to interact in a very positive way. Just get out of our comfort zone and go out and help other people that we may never even want to come in contact with, because we are judging them on what they look like, whether they're clean, whether they're dirty, whether they've been homeless or whatever. That's one thing that God himself does not judge. Because if he judged us like that, we'd be in big trouble. Well, we can also be in big trouble because he knows what's in our heart. We don't know what's on the other people's hearts. You two are married for a long time. You know a lot about what's in the other's heart, but you don't know everything. God knows everything. And other people that have been married for a long time, you know what it's like. You know a whole lot about each other, the good and the bad. But yet you don't truly know what's on the other person's heart. But again, we need to always remember, God, he told Samuel, don't look at what they look like. So even like David, he wasn't, I guess, very, very good looking, or maybe he was, but yet he was a boy. Who in their right mind is going to choose a boy to become a king of a nation? Not too many people that I know of, or too many nations I know of. But yet God knew what he was going to be able to do. Yes, he had to mature, grow up, and gain wisdom and stuff into the school of hard knocks, as it's called. But yet he learned, and he never gave up. Other people we read out in the Bible, read out about, they gave up after a while. They were too tired, or like one of David's sons, I forgot his son, that became the next king, but he eventually fell away from God. He married all these wives from other countries. They brought their religions in. He fell away. But yet, he may have been judging them on a beauty, but a lot of it's for like treaties and stuff. But yet, even in the New Testament, we're told, don't judge people by what they look like or how they look. Just basically do what Matthew and Luke says in the Golden Rule. Treat them how you want to be treated, and don't worry about if they treat you the same way. That's fine. Don't do something and be expecting, an attaboy or thank you, or maybe a thank you if that's what they want to say. If not, just don't worry about it. Go to the next person, or go do another day. Just do it, just to do it. And I think if some of you have probably already done that, and I've heard of a story of somebody that did that, not even expecting thanks, but got a lot of thanks and stuff, a lot of questions. Can I do this? Or is it okay if I get this? And the questions were answered. Probably in a way that he wasn't expecting, but they were answered in a good way, because I've heard the story. And yet, just remember, do it just to do it. Don't expect us to, or somebody to encourage us, or they're not forcing us, but encouraging you to do it. But get out of your comfort zone every once in a while. You might like it. Just like so many things you have to learn. The first step sometimes is the hardest, and fear is what keeps us back. A lot of it's the fear of failing. But if you don't do it, you've already failed. You've completely failed. But yet, if you're willing to take the first step and the second step and try it, who cares if you do it right the first time? Just remember what you did went wrong and change it. Remember all the inventors in history, how many times they've had to do something and they failed, but they recorded what went wrong and they tried something else. Look at Edison. Like the WD-40 and all these other things, 7-Up, and the formulas didn't work it, but they never gave up. And I've even heard a story about how the incandescent lights were frosted. I think they put their newest engineers to work. They gave up, but some engineers, they figured out how to do it. They didn't give up. So we ourselves should not give up. And also another thing that's mentioned, I didn't read it. If somebody comes into your midst dressed in very, very nice looking clothes, and you treat him or her very nice, give them the best seats and everything. If somebody comes in basically off the street homeless and you treat them, put them elsewhere, that's not what God wants. Treat everybody the same. Don't be a respecter of persons. God doesn't respect persons. We do, because of our perception of what somebody should look like or what we should look like matters to us more. But again, we need to be very, very careful. And I'm actually finished. So at this time, if anyone here has any needs, like prayers for yourself or maybe other people that you know about, and you want to make publicly known, come forward and we would offer prayers for you. And also, if anyone's here that needs to be baptized and would like to also become a child of God, I'm not sure how, I don't know if anybody's in here like that or not, but again, this is your opportunity to come. The water is ready, and be baptized and come out a new person. And at that time, your sins will be forgiven, and you'll be a new creature and part of God's kingdom. But if you think about that and come forward, if that's what you will, as we stand and sing the invitation song.